Good evening, my beautiful butterflies and fly guys. I know you're ready to get into tonight's discussion, so without pause, let's get to it. This week, our discussion will center around the topic, tales, rumors, and gossip. I know there are some of you watching that are like that character Benita Betrayal from In Living Color, where your moniker is, I ain't one to gossip, so you ain't heard it from me. So listen, if you are one who wants the latest information surrounding the fashion industry and those who love it, then you don't want to miss this discussion. So go ahead and tell Lottie Dottie and everybody that HeSpoke Fashion is live, and we will be right back after this. Are you ready, AB? All right, let's get it. Hit it. Yeah, in the building.
HeSpoke Fashion. I'm telling HeSpoke Fashion. So fast. HeSpoke Fashion. I'm telling you HeSpoke.
Again, thank you for joining, and I'm so glad that you've taken time out of your busy schedule to have this conversation. So I know many of you are familiar with the proverbial rumor mill, and that's because it flows in one direction and never changes its course, oftentimes damaging the subject of the rumor to no end. Have you ever had someone start a rumor about you or a family member or even a friend? How did you feel when it happened to you? What did you lose or gain from the rumor? I do know that some rumors are started to promote a narrative rather than the truth, and that for some may be positive. For example, if the rumor is about you and it says that you're known for knocking someone out, then one might say that is a rumor that may offer protection for you if somebody thinks that you're nice with your hands. But more times than not, a rumor is negative, and it is set to do more harm than help. Do you remember the rumor that was started some years ago about the actor Richard Gere? So the rumor was simply that Richard Gere checked himself into Cedars-Sinai Hospital in California, complaining of intestinal pain and rectal bleeding. When doctors investigated, they found Gere's beloved pet gerbil, Tibet, shaved, declawed, and dead, lodged in Gere's rectum, the result of gerbiling, a sexual practice common among gay men. So doctors performed an emergency gerbilectomy on Gere. The gerbil was removed, but guess what? The story stuck. Needless to say, none of this ever happened. Gere was never admitted to the hospital for rectal bleeding, and gerbiling is not a sexual practice at all among gay men or anyone else. This is just one example of how a rumor can spread without having any truth to it. After hearing this rumor, I personally assumed that Richard Gere was really a LGBTer, and was amazed when I found out that he married supermodel Cindy Crawford. Wow. So let's look at another rumor, shall we? Now, did you all hear the rumor about Idris Elba? So in a new interview with Variety, Elba revealed that he's ready to lean away from the acting work and to focus more on his music. He says he hopes audiences will support his ability to write rhymes as much as his ability to recite lines. That kind of rhymes, right? He continued that some may think, well, it may be the depth of your acting if your music blanks. said the 49-year-old to the outlet for its annual issue. He said, quote, I quote, that I've dealt with the internal struggle of that over the years. So now I am at peace and I've chosen this is what I'm doing. And I'm going to do it. Some will love it and some will hate it. Well, in this particular interview, he reveals he is only digging into other forms of artistic expression, but that he would continue his acting career. Now, listen, I know that those who are fans of the actor are glad to hear that he's continuing with his acting. But again, this is how a rumor can start and then slowly but surely get out of hand. Let's look at a few quotes here. And as you know, I love a good quote. So let's look at a few. This first one says, rumors are like fires. No one admits to starting them. And before you know it, they're out of control. Now, is that true about rumors? They can be out of control at a moment's notice. That's just one quote about a rumor. Let's look at another. Oh, now this quote is from someone who you know and I know is well versed in rumors starting about them. That's none other than Tom Cruise. And he says, and I quote, today, people can say anything they want. Suddenly it gets in the rumor mill and then it evolves and then somehow it becomes fact. And you say, what is this? You know, why don't you just ask me? Wow. Now that in particular kind of struck a chord with me. I don't know about you, but it's true. Right now, because of social media and platforms, that people can say just about anything. They can even just put a picture on the screen and ask you to caption it. And then you'll say anything and they'll use that to start a rumor. Wow. Let's look at one that I thought was pretty comical. It says, I live in a small town. Someone called my mom and told her they saw me, I can't say it. They saw me trying to buy alcohol at the grocery store. I'm 41. So you see here, we're having a bit of fun here, but you see how rumors can get started and they do more harm than hurt. Fortunately, that guy was 41. There was one particular rumor that I do want to get to tonight and to discuss. And this rumor could have possibly ended the brand of its owner, and that is the rumor concerning Tommy Hilfiger. All right. So recently, Tommy Hilfiger has actually been in the news for something good that his company is doing, in that it is launching a new podcast that highlights Black creators. The podcast entitled right here, The Invisible Seam. This podcast will highlight the legacies and contributory threads Black people have woven into the greater fabric of American style and culture. This is something that we need to support. So while today we are celebrating Tommy Hilfiger for highlighting Black contributions in fashion, there was a time not so long ago when Blacks everywhere were looking to boycott Tommy Hilfiger clothing altogether. Let's go back in time, shall we, to circa 1996. So this rumor, which started in late 1996, began circulating that Tommy had appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show and made racist remarks. The speculation took on a new life via widely circulated chain email that alleged that Hilfiger said, I quote, that if he had known that so many Chinamen and N-word were going to buy his clothes, he never would have made it so nice, end quote. Now, while a spokeswoman for Oprah denied that Tommy ever appeared on the show, the accusations remain in the zeitgeist. Perhaps I am dating myself, but I do recall, and I'm sure many of you recall, this rumor circulating. And listen, I, for one, was saddened by the rumor. Now, get this. The reason for my sadness may not be what you think. The reason I was saddened by this is because, I don't know if you remember, but those Tommy Hilfiger shirts were pretty expensive, at least for me. And back then, I had finally saved enough money for me to purchase one. And get this, here it was, after all of the saving that I did, to not be able to wear it because someone called for us to boycott Tommy Hilfiger. Don't you hate when that happens? I mean, how often have we been told to boycott something simply because someone didn't receive the customer service they felt they deserved? Wow. Have you ever been there where a boycott interrupted your life? Nevertheless, I remember just now how all of my crew had Tommy Hilfiger that entire summer. And there were quite a few people who made the brand a sensation. Let's look at a few. There was, of course, one of my favorite, and that is none other than Aaliyah. She appeared in ad campaigns and walked red carpets in Tommy Hilfiger, appearing in music videos in the label's jeans, boxers, and bandanas. While the pieces she wore were from the men's line, she became an inspiration for the brand's women's collection. She created a new look, one that would be copied by a generation of women. Now, I'm not sure if I knew that the clothing she wore was from the men's line. Did any of you know that she was actually wearing clothing from the men's line? And what's interesting about this rumor is that, as an article stated in The Root, and let's look at this article here. All right, let's bring that up so I can read that. It says, once the news came out reportedly stating that Hilfiger had been quoted in several interviews by comments such as, I had known that African Americans, Hispanics, okay, that's a new one, and Asians would buy my clothes, I would not have made them so nice. And as we watch this, we see how now it's added a few races in there, right? It went from blacks and Asians to now Hispanics. But he says, I would not have made them so nice. The rumor even went as far to claim that the designer doubled down on the Oprah Winfrey Show when she asked him about the statement directly. He supposedly confirmed on air that he did indeed make these statements, and that Winfrey immediately asked him to leave the show. This rumor within a rumor was later cleared when Hilfiger appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show in 2007 for the very first time. She goes on to say in the interview, Tommy, in the 21 years that we've been on the air, have you ever been on the show? Winfrey asked Hilfiger. Unfortunately not, the designer replied. No one knows where the rumor started, but there has never been any proof to surface from any of the publications the designer was reportedly quoted by. Now, isn't that interesting? And that's how they do. They associate the rumor with something that's valid, something that is possible, that he could have been in one of these publications. Let me read a bit more. Hilfiger has continued to deny these allegations over the years, insisting that his brand has always been and will forever remain for all people. However, black people continue to distrust his efforts. While we continue to see white billionaires make their public Black Lives Matter statements and launching initiatives to support the black community, it's hard to decipher who is genuinely for the culture and who is pushing for that diversity clout. It says here, tell us, will you be giving Hilfiger's new podcast a listen? And I, for one, say that we should support his efforts. But I find it amazing that the truth of the matter was that he never appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show before the rumors started. He never appeared on it. But unfortunately for Tommy Hilfiger, this rumor was gaining momentum, and it really threatened to destroy his reputation and his brand. How could a man who posed with groups that wore his brand, like none other than one of the biggest groups of the 90s, Destiny's Child, how could he be a racist? Now listen, I know that some of you are saying, well, you wouldn't be surprised if he were, because of those you may have encountered that you later found out were friends in your face, but foes everywhere else. But let's take a deeper dive into Tommy Hilfiger instead of brushing him with the same stroke you would brush with others that may look like him. All right? So here it is. This article, it says Hilfiger cast as a racist villain. Hilfiger's being cast as a racist villain is especially unfortunate because his history as a designer shows him to be anything but. Adding color and movement to everyday clothes, his designs shot into popularity, his fashion statements as its own. When Snoop Doggy Dogg wore a red, white, and blue Hilfiger rugby shirt on Saturday Night Live in March 1994, the word went out. Tommy gear was cool. That was the same year the National Conference of Christians and Jews bestowed its National Humanitarian Award on the young designer. In 1995, Hilfiger was named Menswear Designer of the Year by the Council of Fashion Designers of America. And from there, he's gone nowhere but up. But after all the good that was being reported and all of the accolades that he received concerning his work, directly opposite of that in which he was eventually accused, that's when the rumor mill started to rev up his motor and do what it always does, and that's destroy. So in a comment from Tommy's younger brother, Andy Hilfiger, he stated, "We've never pinpointed one specific group of people. We want to dress or not dress." And you know what? I, for one, believe him. What about you? Or does the color of one's skin make it difficult for you to believe him? So I think there were others that believed him and his older brother. And that is reflected by the numbers during that time in terms of sales. Let's look at the financial ramifications here. So in 2012, Hilfiger spoke about the financial ramifications as the featured guest on Fern Malley's 92 Why Fashion Icons series. He says, and I quote, "It hurt for a long period of time, not from a business standpoint, because our business doubled in that time," unquote, Hilfiger said. He went on to say it went from 1 billion to 2 billion in that time. That's billion with the B. But it hurt here, placing his hand on his heart. It really made me believe someone was out for me. We never found the source, but hope that at some point in time, people will realize it was just a nasty rumor. With the rumor seemingly laid to rest, Hilfiger couldn't help but mention that some people may still believe it. As recently as September 25th, 2015, the brand was still attempting to set the record straight when someone tweeted at them that, quote unquote, Tommy Hilfiger is an outed racist. Wow. I want you to pay close attention to that, because it said that it did not hurt him financially, but it hurt him emotionally. And I want to say to you that when you stand in truth, it hurts. And when others don't, it hurts when others do not. It hurts you when others do not stand in the truth. So, how does a rumor that no one knows who started gain enough momentum to affect those in powerful positions as well as their businesses? What is it about a rumor that can wield such great power and longevity? I want you to know that there are 8.5 laws of rumors as expressed by psychology today. It simply says here that there are 8.5 laws of rumor spread, and two tenets specifically seems to apply to the Tommy Hilfiger situation. One is, the more you hear a rumor, the more you'll buy it, even if you're hearing that it's false. Did you get that? The more you hear a rumor, the more you'll buy it, even if when you're hearing it, the rumor is false. And then two, sticky rumors are simple and concrete, pointing to easy to pass along misinformation, like it takes 7 years for swallowed gum to pass through the body. We only use 10% of our brains. The Great Wall of China can be seen from space, and people swallow 8 spiders a year in their sleep. These tidbits are all simple and specific, with a vivid detail that sticks in the mind. The same could be said for Tommy Hilfiger being thrown off the set of the Oprah Winfrey Show. That's something simple and easy to pass along. So again, those true rumors of the 8.5 laws of rumor spread are, first of all, it says that the more you hear a rumor, the more you'll buy it, even if you're hearing that it's false. So again, this is psychology, that someone could say, you know, this person was found guilty of this. And even though you know that it's false, the more you hear it, you'll buy into it, you'll believe it. And so we have to be very careful when we're dealing with rumors, because the more you hear a rumor, the more you buy into it. Just think about it for a moment. Think about a few of the rumors that you've heard in your lifetime, a few of them. And think about it for a minute. When they finally told you that the rumor was not true, did it stop you from believing the rumor to be true? The more you hear, every time they bring it back up, even it was years ago, the more you hear it, the more you'll buy it. And then the second one that we'll talk about tonight, specifically in the Tommy Hilfiger rumor mill, sticky rumors are simple and concrete. And again, the fact that you could tie it to the Oprah Winfrey Show, something that at the time was still airing. And you say, oh yeah, it was one of the past episodes. Oprah had him on. And when he replied that he did make the statement, she booted him off of the stage, off of her show. Oh man, you should have seen it. And it never happened. But because it was simple and concrete, it stuck. And it stuck for a lot of years. As we just made mention, that even in 2015, someone tweeted that he was an outed racist. How unfair is that when you know that there's no truth to it? And so when we look here, even Oprah Winfrey, she did what she could to help dispel the rumor. It said that she had an interview with Tommy Hilfiger. She opened her show in 1999 by adamantly denouncing the rumor, emphatically stating the following: "So I want to just set the record straight once and for all. The rumor claims that clothing designer Tommy Hilfiger came on this show and made racist remarks, and that I then kicked him out. I just want to say that is not true because it just never happened. Now get this, this is Oprah on her show in 1999. The rumor was started in 96. And in 1999, it's still circulating. She says, it just never happened. Tommy Hilfiger has never appeared on this show. Read my lips. Tommy Hilfiger has never appeared on this show. And all of the people who claim that they saw it, they heard it, it never happened. I've never even met Tommy Hilfiger. And then on May 2nd, 2007, nearly a dozen years after the rumor began circulating, Hilfiger himself appeared on Oprah's program for the first time ever to discuss and once again debunk the notorious rumor. Let's move on. So again, this is part of the interview. So let's break this down. This is Oprah to Tommy. In the 21 years that we've been on the air, have you ever been on the show before today? Tommy responds, unfortunately not. And when you first heard it, Tommy, what did you think? And this is Tommy's response. I didn't believe it. Friends of mine said they heard the rumor. I said, that's crazy. That can't be. I was never on the Oprah show. I would never say that. And all my friends and family who know me and people who work with me and people who have grown up with me said, that's crazy. And Oprah responds, well, did you ever say anything close to that? Where do you think this originated? Tommy says, I have no idea. We hired FBI agents. I did an investigation. I paid investigators lots of money to go out and investigate. And they traced it back to a college campus, but couldn't put their finger on the culprit. And so imagine that. They traced it all the way back to some college campus. And here is this man having to defend his integrity. And I'm telling you, I think it was amazing that he took the time to do that, to answer each question. And it wasn't a softball interview, because Oprah even went on to say and to challenge him and say, did you say anything close to that? Like, you know, you said something and someone mistook it and then ran with something based on what you started to say, anything close to that. And he responded, he did not. And I would suggest that the level of effort that Tommy Hilfiger took to trace down the rumor shows his willingness to debunk the rumor. And during that time, while many in our community had turned away from Tommy Hilfiger, I want to say that it did give way for other labels to launch and to turn some of Tommy Hilfiger's former clients into clients of their own. And you guys remember that at that time, Jay-Z's Rockaware started to come out. So it did the rumor mill. While it tried to take down one business, it was able to give space for another clothing brand. But you know what? I, for one, am glad that Tommy was able to sustain his business and his brand during this troublesome time of the rumor mill. It appears that there are those who believe the rumor not to be true, and they have now begun to show their support behind the designer once again. There are people like A$AP Rocky. You know, I hope the young man gets out of the trouble that's facing him right now, because he has a child on the way. We hope that there's no truth to those allegations. There also were others that are now starting to wear and support the designer. Those like Zendaya, that's Spider-Man's girlfriend right there, as well as others like Bruno Mars. He's starting to support the brand. And you know, when these musicians and stars start to wear the brands, you know that they become ambassadors. And you don't put anything on that you don't support. But you know, there are some tales, rumors, and gossip that actually turn out to be true. Unfortunately, there are some. Then there are those like this one that in the end are found to be baseless claims only meant to cause harm to the subject of the rumor. Now, how it ended for Tommy Hilfiger is not common for most, as there were some that the rumor mill, they put in prison. And also those that lives were destroyed both financially and emotionally. Wow, and it's sad. But listen, it's time that I bring this discussion to a close. And I've really enjoyed you all on tonight. I hope that you enjoyed this discussion. Remember, this is HeSpoke Fashion, and I'm the host, Daylon Thomas. And I want to leave you with this. Remember, I mentioned earlier that there are 8.5 laws of rumor. We only took time out tonight to review those that were applicable to this story, which definitely seemed to be a blueprint for successfully ruining someone's name or destroying their business. But the others are equally lethal, and those are the ones that I hope to discuss as we continue in this series, Tales, Rumors, and Gossip. Now, I hope you continue to join us as we take a deeper dive into those rumors that specifically affect fashion and those like myself who love it. So tonight, my goal was simple, and that was to use Tommy Hilfiger as an example that even in the fashion arena, there are ways that rumors can impact your business. And I know there are many of you watching that are budding designers, store owners, and brand owners. And I want to encourage as well as educate you on all things that could cause you harm or that could benefit you in your goal to clothe the world. My over 20 years experience in the fashion industry, along with my lifelong love for fashion, qualifies me to help you in your goal. But before we go, I want to remind you of the HeSpoke Fashion One Spring Day Party coming to the beautiful city of Fayetteville, North Carolina. Listen, you don't want to miss this event as we celebrate our viewers there in the city, as well as honoring the community heroes in the area. If you like comedy, live music, and a host of other surprises, then you don't want to miss this event. The tickets are between $20 and $25, and they can be purchased at Eventbrite. Go now and get your ticket because this will sell out soon. We're almost there, and we don't want you to miss out. All right, that's all I have for you tonight. I want you to have a good night, good fashion, and remember, HeSpoke Fashion to you. Hit the like button and the subscribe button. And remember, fashion changes, and so can you. Have a good night. Yeah!